Antiques on York in Rockville, Indiana, 100 West York Street, celebrating our 10th year in business.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody. I hope you all had good holidays. Ready to face the world again. Here we go. We have minutes from October 2nd and December 5th to approve.
I make a motion we approve the minutes for October 2nd, 2023 and December 5th of 2023.
That was the joint meeting between the council and us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, just trying to think, make sure I was there on both of them.
And I'm not
so.
gonna have you sign the 25th, it's just for our files.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll second that. I was there at both of them.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Payroll. And regular payroll is $199,680.29. And then the Union Hospital Security is $3,276.44.
Make a motion we approve payroll in the amount of $199,680.29 and hospital $3,276.44.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I'll second that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good now.
All right. Susan, after the first of the year, will we no longer have two payrolls like that then, since we can now designate what is not pensionable?
It still has to be separated because I can't just stop it on one person and stop the retirement on everybody.
Okay.
So that's why it's done that way.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Here's the sheriff's. I thought you approved both of them at the same time.
We did.
I want you to notice that I wrote 2024.
Yeah.
How many times have you not?
My first attempt. My first attempt.
All right. We'll keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Make sure that.
I have a whole box of pens at home that I've collected over the years. I need to bring them in. I keep saying that. All right, then we need to acknowledge receipt of the payroll claims accounts payable report in the amount of $143,640.17 from December 18th. And then we have one for $191,068.27 from today, January 2nd.
Now, the one was where we didn't have it last time.
Gotcha.
Okay. I make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of payroll claims, the one for 12/18 and $143,640.17, and the one for January 2nd at $191,068.27.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Here's the other one.
All right, then we have accounts payable, it's a big one, but it's in years, so $1,101,619.34.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable in the amount of $1,101,619.34.
And second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do you have any out-of-cycle checks?
Nope.
Okay.
And, because we took them longer this time, just to get them all paid. And there was nothing really outstanding in the list.
Okay.
It's just.
Well, you
year-end
probably
stuff.
had some
Okay.
lease stuff
Yeah.
or whatever, or bond amounts due, or there's a big one that says George's was in there as well.
All right. Well, then we are ready to move into new business. This is actually kind of old business, but we're gonna have George come up. George has been struggling. George is our insurance broker with our property stuff. And he has been struggling getting bids for us. I know he's really been at it. We met with Bliss McKnight close to a month ago, and we thought we had it taken care of, but then that didn't work out. And then after some more talking and some other sources that George is going to tell us about, so here we go.
I will. Once again, thanks, gang. And you know, the big issues we had, of course, we had a large property loss a couple years ago with the ambulance building. We've also had some other liability claims and things like that coming through. You've been with Travelers for a long time. I'm guessing the last 4 to 5 years. They came in and I just wasn't real happy with the renewal. The renewal came in, they offered a renewal, but some of the items they did just right off the bat, your property deductibles for structures went from $5,000 to $10,000. They also, in law enforcement liability, probably one of the biggest things they did, they dropped law enforcement liability from the umbrella coverage. So what that does to you is gives you $1 million in coverage, and I just didn't feel real secure about that. Plus, they changed the deductible from $10,000 to $50,000. So I kind of broke it down for you on that front page, but they came in and I just wasn't real happy. So obviously, I shopped for other options. There's only a handful of companies that write municipalities in the country, and I've received denials from all those companies except for one. And the representative here tonight, Bob Woodard with Bliss McKnight. Bliss McKnight came in and offered a partial package. They offered to write your liability, of course, the automobiles, and the inland marine, which is going to be your non-licensed vehicles such as graders, backhoes, things like that. So they did come in and offer to write that. They were trying to get the property placed with Chubb and some other carriers, and we got denied on it. So at the last minute, which is why I'm here on the 2nd, and your insurance renews the 5th, at the last second, I was able to secure a quote with Auto Owners Insurance to write just the property.
Which is surprising. It's a good company. Be surprised that they came with that offer. So that's good.
Blew me out of the water. I could not believe it. So that's kind of a quick rundown. For obvious reasons, I don't want to talk about too many deductibles and different stuff, but if you have a question, feel free to ask me.
Well, I'd like to say, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I just want to remind you that with Travelers, they have been very encouraging to us to settle all the time rather than fight anything. By taking that deductible to $50,000, we're going to pretty much want to settle for anything less than $50,000. Yes. Where Bliss McKnight won't be in that category. They'll be getting involved pretty quickly with those things, and they won't be encouraged to settle everything out.
Exactly.
Court. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm coming with two options. The first option, of course, is going to stay with Travelers. Stay with Travelers. I just want to point out some items. Your law enforcement deductible would be $50,000. Employment practices would be $50,000. There's some deductibles that are staying the same, like your inland marine and things like that. But the vehicles, Travelers is coming in. Any vehicles valued below 99 or below 100,000, they're changing it to comprehensive deductible of $2,500, collision deductible of $2,500. Any vehicles over 100,000, it's $5,000 deductibles both ways. So a large increase in deductibles. But, you know, just to be fair with travelers, a couple of items that's for consideration that I need you all to consider. With travelers, you do pick up flood coverage, okay? With the other option I'll talk about in a little bit, you do not.
Let's talk about flood, make sure everybody understands.
Yes.
Because we had that conversation. It's not just a matter of pipes flooding in the courthouse. It has to be surface water.
It has to be surface water. The basement floods at the courthouse. You notice I just use the word flood because your pipe bursts. That's not really a flood. Rainfall, dam breaks, something like that, where you have large quantities of surface water damaging a building would be considered a flood.
Are we still covered with the other scenario, busted pipe flood? The basement,
Absolutely.
we're covered with that anyway, right? So all we're
Absolutely.
doing is losing that protection. I mean, we have that protection, but we would lose it by making the change from the flood waters.
That is correct.
Surface waters, which we're not really exposed to any place. Only low spot I think we've ever had water would be the ambulance service, I think.
That's what I was going to say, is over by the highway department, the ambulance building's the only ones I can think
Has your
of.
building ever flooded in your 100 years of being there?
No, not inside the building.
Okay.
Didn't you have, Jason, didn't you have some water issues last year, but it came off the field, the farmer's
Right.
field or whatever, didn't it? He flooded the front yard,
Yeah, we
but it
got
didn't
that,
come
we got
into
that
the,
fixed.
okay, but didn't come into the building, right?
No,
Okay.
But you got that fixed where the water flows
Right,
better, now,
correct.
okay.
So not having that, I think, is not a problem
No,
for me.
that's not.
The other thing, if for some reason we go with the auto owner's Bliss McKnight option, the other thing that could be important, we do not have the ability to write canine coverage.
Okay.
Now, you would have liability. So if you sick the dog on me and I sue,
Right.
you'll have the liability coverage. But, and we have had a case over the years to where we had a canine die,
Line of service, yeah.
and so there wouldn't be any coverage there. Now, and I don't have it with me, but I do have a third party that will write the canine coverage for about $1,000.
That's an easy sale there for me.
So I don't have that information with me. I just actually secured that at around 2 o'clock this afternoon, so.
Well, the dogs cost, Jason, about ballpark.
about $10,000.
So that'd be good insurance,
I mean,
for
you got-
$1,000 to cover that.
How many we got right now?
We got three.
Three?
That's right, you retired Gemma, and, yeah.
Hard to keep track, yeah, we got three.
Now, insurance coverage would cover natural death too, or just has to be in line of duty?
On the canine coverage like that, the one we lost, I believe, was actually a heart attack, been years ago. And we covered it.
Okay.
So it's a lot more of a mortality insurance.
Yeah. Guys, you got any questions for me?
No.
There is a difference in premium.
There you go, it's big. and-
$16,000 difference, but with those deductibles that we'd be facing, you get that back pretty quickly.
So, probably offset that.
Yeah.
The expiring premium, I put it down there. Like I said, I tried to, for old school like me, Ben Franklin close is what I always call this, but the pros and cons list, your expiring premium was right at $277,729. The renewal this year with Travelers was $328,129, which is about a 17% increase. The offer I have with Bliss, McKnight, and then also auto owners is right at $344,475, which is about a 21% increase.
The 17% probably wouldn't be so surprising considering the record we've had and the trends that we've had, and considering inflation being probably half of that at the time they were making these proposals. It may not be that much now, but maybe at the time. So I'm not so disturbed by that. And the 21%, I understand the same thing. You've just got to look where we are.
That's right.
I do have confidence that we would probably save that in deductible differences.
That's what I think. And
That $50,000 jump for law enforcement is huge. $50,000
$10,000.
longer practices. So if we got sued for letting someone go, whether we want or not, we're going to get sued. We're going to have expenses with that. That'd be a big difference right there as well.
that's right. And Bliss McKnight does something a little different than what Travelers does. With Travelers, you had $1 million liability and then a $4 million umbrella. With Bliss McKnight, you have $5 million liability. Just, you
So
know,
it's not an umbrella
It's not
situation
an
on top
umbrella,
of
it's-
your regular, that's what the coverage is.
that's what you get. Yeah, so you wouldn't see an umbrella
Right.
invoice or anything like that.
Right.
The other thing that I've been assured of is that, and once again, I appreciate everybody in the departments took time to meet with me and the gentleman from Bliss McKnight, the risk control. Before they would quote this, we had to meet with risk control just so they could get a feel how the county operated. One thing Bliss McKnight has assured me of, and I hold them to it, offering on-site training, trainings, help with your handbooks, help with your, pursuits. We talked about the, Bliss will actually, at their cost, bring out to the sheriff's department, what do they call those, interactive?
Firearms training.
Firearms training.
That's-
So they will bring that out to the site. They have driving simulators.
And when we met with Blissman, I like that idea, period, that there are things we could be doing better.
Yes.
And these will help us to do things better, so.
That's
Not
right.
just, I don't see that just as a requirement for Blissman Knight to do business with it, but I see it as an opportunity for us to do better.
The real hot point with the insurance companies, and you as the customer, you really want to look good in their eyes. Things happen. We've all had the insurance claims. Things happen.
Gotta show
What are
your
you
time.
doing to help?
Yeah, gotta show your time.
And some of the things that are very important from an admin standpoint are the sexual harassment trainings and the workplace violence trainings. Those are two that are
Right.
almost imperative that you have to keep doing.
I don't know how you would have a bad situation and you go to court and you were asked if you'd had those trainings, if you'd had the opportunity. Well, yeah, we had the opportunity, we just didn't do them. How do you justify that
That's
to
right.
Yeah,
anybody
that's
that
right.
you didn't bother to have those trainings?
That's right.
You guys have any questions on it?
No,
Yeah. No, the only comment, Travelers bothers me that they're blaming us or they're penalizing us for the ambulance building when
Wasn't us.
we had nothing to do with it.
That's right.
It was the manufacturer of the ambulance. But yet Travelers is putting all the blame on us and kicking all these premiums up and deductibles up, and it just bothers me that, they're trying to say that, well, you guys are a bad client, basically, when we had nothing to do with that.
That's right.
Okay, yes.
There were no.
Do we
safety-
have problems? I can't say no, we don't. Yes, we have problems. And we've had times where we've had accidents with the, highway truck. It was our fault, okay? But in that case, and that was $1 million claim, I understand. And you've never had $1 million claim, I don't think, before.
That was my first
That was,
$1 million claim.
it had nothing to do with us, and it just bothers me. The Travelers doesn't take that into consideration, but that's the way insurance companies are, I understand. The other thing I was just gonna ask, and I don't wanna nickel and dime this, okay, but does Bliss McKnight have could you go to them and say, okay, what if we increase, because I know personal, okay, if we increase deductible, that lowers the premium a little bit. Does Bliss have any kind of negotiable things, like if we would go 10,000 or 20,000 on law enforcement, that we would have a reduction in premium?
And-
I said, I don't want to nickel and dime this to say, okay, we get a little more deductible with less premium, and it's not really worth. I just wondered, I was just curious on whether, or if these are pretty set
I can
numbers.
tell you, when we took a look at this, we'll run the various deductible scenarios, and we'll look at it from a price value standpoint, and that's the basis by what we recommend deductible wise. So based upon these deductibles, the way you see today, if we were to increase those, the reduction in premium is not enough to offset.
And that's what I'm
additional
saying, I don't
costs.
want to feel like we're nickel and diming thing. It was just a question I had,
Absolutely.
because I've heard people with auto insurance or their
Yes.
homeowners, they'll, kind of play around with those deductibles to get their premium a little bit lower,
Yeah, we can certainly do it, it's just, in our opinion, the value isn't there.
We did that with health insurance. That might have been before you. We were able to lower the premiums by raising the deductibles on the employees to have a higher deductible. But the county paid the deductible. That's when we started giving those those payments to the employees, and that purpose of that was to match that extra deductible, and if you didn't use that money then for that extra deductible, then you had to keep that, and that worked out well for everybody. So that's exactly what you're talking about, yeah. Well, no more questions. I'd make a motion, and then we go ahead and we move with Bliss McKnight as presented.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. George, I appreciate your effort on this. I know you were stressed.
We need to vote on auto owners too, or was that all the same package?
That was a combination on the, do you want them broke down?
No, not, yeah, unless you want to broke down.
No, I didn't know if you
That's
wanted
part
in
of
the
package,
minutes,
right?
Bliss
That's part of
McKnight,
package.
auto owners both
Okay.
is part of this whole package.
Oh, you're saying separate contract with auto owners? They
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
contract
auto
with
I made
Bliss
the motion
McKnight.
for Bliss
They
McKnight,
contracted
but
with
not
us.
auto owner.
Oh, okay. But I was under the impression that actually they were contracting with Bliss McKnight, but they're contracting with us, auto owners is?
Yes.
Okay, then I make a motion that we go into a contract with the auto owners for their property insurance.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And just on a time constraint, Jim, I'll be happy to stay. I need a lot of signatures, so I'll wait till after the meeting's over to
We
get
can do
some.
them right now if it works for you.
It does. I just didn't want to hold anybody else up.
I mean, you're here and we're doing business, so why don't we sign those and get them out of the way?
Okay.
Do we want to do anything on the K-9? You want
Yeah.
We
to
want to
go ahead and vote on that, or you want to get Jim the numbers?
Yeah, let me get everything and
And we can vote on
stone.
the next meeting?
Yep.
Yeah. Or we can vote on it now contingent upon it, then I can sign it, so if you want to, however you want to do it, but we can do it next meeting.
Okay.
Do we have a period where?
Starting on the 5th.
Yes.
So we're not covered, so we need to go ahead and probably do it today, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think it's around 1,000, I don't care. $1,005 or $1,000, I'm not gonna bicker about
What's the name of the
that.
company?
I don't even know yet.
Okay.
My counterpart out of the Crawfordsville office with Rob Williams from up there was like, we just did this for Montgomery County, so.
Maybe authorize me to sign on our behalf, to accept it on our behalf, and then when he gets the name and the number, we can codify that, does that work? I hate for us to be
Yeah,
a month there
Jason
without
could be
coverage
without-
on something.
Yeah, I just assume, because that's when something's gonna happen.
Always.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and make the motion that we accept George's proposal with the canine mortality insurance, and then give Jim the authorization to sign the paperwork and all that once George gets all the information regarding that.
And I'll second that.
All fair, say aye.
Aye.
So as soon as you get it, let me know, and then I can, you come down there, you come up here, and we can get it signed.
I'll have that taken care of tomorrow.
Okay. And if that's a emailable thing, you can do that too, I can scan and sign, and sign and scan and send it back to you, and do that too, so.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
Appreciate your effort, George,
You know
thanks.
what? You gotta sign everything.
you okay
Yes.
signing all this?
Yes.
Okay. Switching companies, so we've got contracts everywhere.
Not a problem. Why don't you just make a stack, and you just give me the one you need me to
So I've
sign.
got those from the meeting.
From the meeting,
Yeah,
yes.
that you gave to me, but I'll pass it on to these guys.
And where? Right here?
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you fill out the commissioner stuff and everything, okay?
I'll take out I'll get the easy stuff. This is just one of the applications I'd sent him.
Okay.
So if I could just go through and
And you'll get me copies of these,
I'll
so,
get you copies of the signed documents.
thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, because I talked to him at the AIC
I
meeting.
know how sloppy my handwriting is. I could,
Yep, right there.
Need that in case you have any kind of issues.
Okay, this is on all portion.
Nothing on that side?
That's rejection
I
of
got
charges.
you, I got you, yep. appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for your patience.
Yes, sir, you did good. You were getting concerned.
You know I was.
You did good.
All right. Thanks
See you next
again.
year. All right,
Thanks, George. Appreciate it.
all right. Next up, John, you got some recommendations for,
In your packet.
It's in the
Oh, it's in the
packet, yeah.
First of all, I want to say that the little skirt thing that the recorder there is not so you can tell whether it's recording or not. It blocks radio interference, so your cell phones can't interfere with the audio.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I just want to specify that. This is the same stuff I gave you before, except I have provided an outline this time of any changes I made, with the exception of the last page, which is homemade defined. The changes are cosmetic primarily.
Okay.
Couple of exceptions. I changed the TML activity location from a fill-in-the-blank line to a circle, the best choice. I coordinated with Meece to see what her tracking objectives were going forward and to determine what the locations would be. And then there's a catch-all for everything else.
Okay.
I changed nonprofit number, which there's no such thing as a nonprofit number, to federal tax ID.
Yes.
For the nonprofits to identify themselves. It's really cosmetic other than that, honestly. The letter. The letter is built from about 6 different versions of prior year's letters. A lot better written, I feel. It gives the dates of the next festival, reintroduces why the TML exists, and briefly touches on the exemptions. I didn't want to talk too much about the exemptions in the letter because the exemptions need to be the exception, not the rule. And that's
Don't they have to have a TML paid for Maple Fair?
not paid, no.
No, I thought those two were
They have
always
to have it
paid.
displayed.
I thought they were always,
Last year we gave him, they were
Okay.
free.
okay, I thought they were always paid for both those two. Can you remember if they weren't? Never were?
They had to buy one from Maple Fair?
Yeah,
I used to, I think.
I thought you paid.
If you didn't have one. then you
I thought you
had
paid for Maple Fair and you paid for Bridge Festival, both. Everything else, there was no fee involved, but just those two events.
We were, when I took office, we were told that the only one we charged for was covered bridge.
Okay, let me check on that. 'Cause
The
I-
most recent ordinance reflects that.
okay.
Definitely.
That was just the one?
Just the one, yes.
Okay, that's what it is. I'm mistaken because I was under the impression that you had to have them both.
It used to be, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was, I want to say it was 2016, maybe, I'm not sure on the year, but
If you-
definitely the most recent ordinance.
If you pull that ordinance up, I'd like to see that because
Sure.
I think that's an error. I don't think that was accurate. I think that would be
I'll
a
give you-
mistake in the typing of the ordinance because of my understanding, it's always been that you paid for Maple Fair and you paid for Bridge Festival. Everything else was free.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, if you would, maybe just email me a copy of that. We'll see. We may have to make an adjustment on that. That's a pretty large festival that, I just have to see.
The way the most recent ordinance spells it out is by date. So after September, any events after September 30th get charged for till the festival's over. And then if you need something, a TML for an event that's just, for
Okay, yeah, like
just
you-
after the festival only, you go back to not charging.
All
So
right.
that's how the ordinance spells it out.
Okay, send that to me then, if you would,
Sure
please,
will.
sir. All right.
And then probably the highlight of this stuff, at least I think, probably because I made it, is this flow chart, which will help everyone, I think, including myself, figure out appropriate fees. The vendors can go through this flow chart and see exactly what they're supposed
Good.
to send us on a case by case. And then the second half of that page goes into specifics on some of the issues you've had in the past and some of the most frequently asked questions. I did stick the marijuana thing in there, like Nick asked me to.
Okay,
That wasn't on the one you got last time.
okay.
And then the new one is the last page, homemade defined. So I kind of took the old homemade policy and the conversations Commissioner Meece and I have had to build this out. So again, in the letter, I only wanted to touch on it briefly because I don't want the exemptions to be the highlight of what the vendors are reading when they get these packets. So that one sentence says, qualify for the handmade exemption. 100% of your merchandise must be handmade, crafted at home by you, not mass-produced, not food, beverage items, and not comprised of commercially available parts. And then below that, I break down every phrase and kind of spell it out in more detail. And I think that accomplishes the goals that we want to accomplish. And I would like to have this approved today if possible so I can get ahead of the TML situation, because there's a lot I would like to learn in the auditor's office before Mary Ann retires. Anybody else want to see it?
Yeah, I've got some questions with a couple of those. In the definitions, where it talks about the not produced, using machineries, tooling techniques.
Yeah, that was something I came up with, so.
Because woodworkers, woodcrafters, they would use
Okay.
tools. So, and the foods, maple syrup would certainly qualify as a handmade item. I don't think any of these vendors pay a TML fee for.
I guess I misunderstood
And
what
that's-
you wanted to do on the food thing.
Yeah, let's hold off on those things. By food, we're talking about preparing a meal, making a cake, making a pie. Those are just parts put together and made. That's the tough call. That's the toughest call
Yeah, I don't,
about the handmade items. How do you get the exemptions out? To me, we need to have a better discussion on this. I think a longer discussion on this. To me, it's got to be with numbers. The transit merchant license exemption for handmade was made for lack of a better word, the little old ladies who were under the tent who crocheted and they knitted and they made stuff and they weren't going to pay that fee. It wasn't made for people like me who make 200 gallons of maple syrup a year to sell and not pay for my.
the problem I have with putting a retail dollar figure on it is envision a situation where you have like a hand painted whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, but it took 4 months to make and I only made 3 of them because it takes 4 months to make and they cost $10,000 each, but it absolutely has to meet the definition of homemade handcrafted because I sat there and crafted.
Yeah, that's why we've got to come up with something.
So,
It's
yeah,
not,
it
it's
is
not
tough.
meant for those, and we have some artists who may only make 3 or 4 things a year, and they may sell for lots of dollars as well. So we have to find a way, a better way, I think, to communicate that it's not meant for people, commercial products. It's meant for made at home personal items, which we hardly see anymore. Anyway, my pleasure would be for the TML to go, for the handmade exemption to go away, but as of now, it's in the statute that it exists. What doesn't exist in the statute from the statute is the definition of what that handmade item is.
I mean, we could,
So
if
we
you
have
want
to
to
find
define
it.
so it goes away, we can do that.
So we have to
That might
find
be
a
the
way
go.
to.
Because you're gonna upset people no matter,
Oh, sure.
if it
Well,
exists that way, it's
That's
good.
why I buy mine, even though I'm exempt on
Right.
that, I buy mine now, because I don't want to hear that hassle from other people, because I think that it always comes down to the argument, and I know you know this well, because we've had that conversation many times. You're asking people to pay $10 a day for
Yeah,
setting up and being at
that's
the
why I don't think
Evergreen
it's a big
Festival.
deal if you just
Yeah, so we gotta find a way to communicate that. I might be more inclined to eliminate all handmade exemptions
I'm good with that.
unless specifically applied for. And then if they could convince us that it's a handmade, fits our definition of how it should be, like with your stuff, that you just make a few of those in a year's time.
I'm good with that.
Rather than having a blanket, we just don't offer that unless it's submitted as a handmade.
Have a separate
item
application for
and
it.
have it approved, yeah, something like that, I think.
Well-
Pam, you've been in this a long time, what do you think about something like that?
You know, in the license, you've got in here subject to auditor's
Right,
determination.
yeah.
So, I mean, if they mark handmade, then you guys, it's in your hands at that point.
And then we.
All you have to do is say,
Right.
And I get
bring it
calls
here,
because
show us
they'll-
what you got,
Because
prove
they'll have
to
them
us.
call me, talk about that, and I've only had one person that didn't agree after a while. We finally got down to you're paying $10 a day thing, that's what it is. It's
Right.
not like we're costing you a lot of money here. And if you're coming or not coming is determined upon, you're gonna have to pay $100 for a license to set up, then you need to do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
I totally agree with doing away with it unless they want to try to prove otherwise.
And that may be the case too. I'll talk to Nick. Maybe we just don't accept any, 'cause none of them meet our handmade license unless specifically applied for, unless you specifically applied. And then I guess it would have to come to the auditor. I have to look at that statute and see if the auditor actually makes that final decision as she does with the,
The price that I charge, even $10 is a lot, because some of my items are only like 50 cents, but it's all handmade.
you need to raise your prices.
I want kids to be able to afford them.
That's how the candy started. Actually, my mom would have something the kids at Maple Fair to have to take home to buy for some reasonable price. Well, let's talk about that then. Give us time. I'm okay with the other changes. We just need to decide, I think, once and for all, and get it out there that handmade exemption has to be really specially handmade item where you just make a few and offer them for sale at a.
Will you approve everything but that last page then? And then like Bruce said, the application already specifies.
Yeah, I like the idea of the circle the best choice. They want to track where these things go and where they are, and by having specific choices to come from, I like that. I think that's good.
I'd like to get ahead on getting these packets made so I can be doing other stuff.
See, there are other problems. Just because you're dealing with people and they take advantage of the situation, the other one that's really an abusive thing, I've seen it so many times in my lifetime, is the veterans exemption.
Well, they're supposed to have the DD
And
214.
And there's, yeah, but that belongs to somebody in their family who doesn't have anything to do with the product, doesn't make the product, doesn't work at the booth, doesn't do anything from it, but he was a veteran and he's got that exemption, I mean, that paper that shows he was a serviceman. So when you start talking that, people think you're opposed to veterans. It's not, that's not the case whatsoever. If I have an uncle that was in the military, I could get him to apply for the TML license, get it for free. I'll never see him again the whole festival time, and I'll be over here selling my stuff with an exemption where I didn't have to pay that $10 a day.
That's more work than just going out and earning $100 to buy the license.
That's about the most offensively abused one that I'm aware of, because they're taking advantage of that veteran status, and that's what bothers me about that.
Yep.
So, handmade we can handle, we can make that as restrictive as we need to. Veterans, we're just gonna have to go with that unless we find a better way. But I'm not gonna expect people to go out and take attendance every day, see if that veteran's working the day or not, or if he made it himself, not gonna do that. So are there gonna be people take advantage of the situation? Sure there are, they just are. So, what do you guys think on the,
Yeah, I'm okay. The only, again, I just want to clarify, you understand this a lot more than I do, but, you know, the Maple Fair. I mean, I don't see anything on the application that designates its TMLs for the Covered Bridge Festival versus the Maple Fair, but if you believe they should be charging for Maple Fair, is there maybe some tweaks we need to do to put on, and in the letter, all you address is the Covered Bridge
For the
Festival.
Maple Fair, you're gonna need another ordinance, because I'm quite sure the most recent
Well,
ordinance.
but we don't know that, John,
Yeah.
okay?
And it's
So,
probably too late.
I'm not taking, you're saying your words wrong, but
I know.
we have to see that.
Oh, I
Nick needs to
understand.
see it.
And it's probably too late now, that's just a month away, so.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to let that go to next year, but let's work on that. I'd say let it go the way it's been done, practice. If in practice it's not been a paid fee, then I'd say let it go and just make a change on
I
it.
just want to clarify.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we move forward with this, or do you still
No, I'm
need to
fine.
hear
No, I'm
see
fine
the
with it.
ordinance first before we move forward?
Yeah,
with it?
I don't think we really changed anything in this other than the dates and some grammatical things, so I'm fine with going on the way we have gone, but let's address it once we get into that season and before,
So you want to approve everything for him except the last page?
the last page, yeah.
And then we'll dig into Maple Fair
We're basically doing the same as we've always done, it's just change some words
Maple
and change
Fair
some
for
stuff.
next year.
for next
Yeah,
year.
next
This
year.
year we ain't gonna leave it as is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I say it. Is there a motion to do that?
I make a motion, we approve everything John has to this point with the exception of the last page, which is the homemade department.
I'll second that.
All fair, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Jewelry, for example, has always been the really tough one because we got some marvelous artists out there. But they're buying already made pieces and putting them together, and they got a great design, but they didn't make it. They just assembled it and put it together. Then you got other artists or blacksmiths that actually extrude the metal, and they make every piece that they've had. And how can you say that's not handmade? Of course it is, but it's because the other ones
A
that you
number
had
of
to
those
deal with.
situations I found just in the old computer files I've been going through and stuff. Kettle corn was one
Yeah.
recently, I guess.
Well, we have maple producers that don't make maple syrup. They buy maple
Buy it
syrup
from
from other
somewhere else,
producers
yeah.
and sell it. How is that a handmade exemption?
Right.
You didn't make that, you
Right.
know? So it's a fight I'd rather not have to have every year with
Right.
the situation. I'd rather just do away with it and make that such a specialty thing, that handmade, such a specialty thing. And I don't want to put Meece and PCI in a tough spot because they will advertise as handmade items, and they are handmade items. Even that jeweler who's just putting pieces together, that's a handmade item. I mean, they've created that and they've done the artistic work, but they didn't make all those parts and they didn't do all those parts. But then you get into, like a guy was arguing me one time, well, you don't make that sugar water out of those trees either, you know, and you didn't make the bucket that you use. And it's true. So where do you draw the line?
Right.
How far does it go? So you gotta find some reasonable approach to that. So we'll see. Okay, so I think you're good to go. We did vote on that, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Thanks, Johnny. Good work on that. I think, I appreciate your interest in that and looking at that.
Appreciate it.
All right. We have a recommendation here from Katie Potter for folks to go on the appeals board for the tax board. Her recommendation is to appoint Josh Sorrells, Delbert Lewis, and Mike Strack for the PTBO, Property Tax Board of Appeals. Do I have any questions on them? Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we go with Katie Potter's recommendations on the assessors
Board of Appeals.
Board of Appeals.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All righty, I think we are ready for Randy. Well, you got a lot. Let's get Jason to get, you got anything for us, Jason?
Just a couple things. Jail count 64 total, which is 52 county, 8 DOC, and we have 4 out-of-county holds. And then reported collections for all of last year, $96,473.56.
How that compared to other years?
I think it's right on track, of course. And then also about the same the year prior. Housing out-of-county inmates for last year, $255,879, which hopefully we can maintain at least that much.
Till they get a couple jails done, then
Yeah.
we'll be hearing on that. But
Sullivan County is almost done.
yes, they are.
But
It's a good looking facility. I was just there the other day.
I've seen on TV, it looks pretty good, but
Yes.
I haven't seen it in person yet. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, Randy.
I have a question for you. When it comes to your deputies flagging traffic for like tree trimming stuff, how does that actually work? Because I know with the county highway, there are certain things they can and cannot do if they're competing with other businesses.
Competing with other businesses.
Yeah.
They're off duty and getting paid through RMC, I know that. I don't know.
So they are off duty, so it'd be like the security job then?
Correct.
Schools or
Okay.
the
So they're
hospital.
not hiring the sheriff's department to do it, they're hiring those individuals to do it?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I was curious.
Okay, yep.
Good question. We haven't talked about that. What he's referring to is, the highway department used to be able to go work on somebody's ditch or somebody's driveway or something, but we can't do anything that their company exists who can do that. So if there were other flagger companies out there, then we as a county entity couldn't provide that service if the county was getting paid for it. But the
Okay.
county's not getting paid for it, the individuals are getting paid for it.
Okay.
As an end contractor. That's what that's about. And I understand, if I was a trucker, I wouldn't want to pay my taxes to the county, and the county goes use the county highway trucks, and my taxes help buy to go haul rock and take business away from me. I wouldn't want that to happen.
Oh,
either,
yeah,
so
of course.
that makes sense. Yep.
Yep.
All right, I guess we're ready for you. Randy, I want to set up a meeting with you and your crew one day. Let's pick a time that goes well and just talk about what we're going to be going through the next 5 months and that you're looking on the way out, and just so they know what we're looking at and what's going on, and no surprises for anybody. And I've already been authorized by these guys to start the looking process. I'll engage LTAP to help me with that process, and you, and get the advertisements out and see who's available and what we find.
All three of you, and take one from Mary Ann.
Well, for the first one, the coal mix, and over emulsion oil, that bid, we signed that earlier, just a carryover bid from Asphalt Materials.
Has price gone down much on that stuff?
Huh.
Has price gone down much on your?
On some things it has,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, like the Asphalt Materials will be the same as
Yeah.
this year, or last year now.
Oil that you have to buy, have you seen the difference in price in the oil you're buying?
No, it stayed the same.
Stayed the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hot mix asphalt, there's the prices on that. They've went up a little bit. About $4 for 5 days. 11 surface went up pretty good price. $68 to $75.50 a ton. The date accept them, and tires, some of them went up like for loaders. Grader tires came down some. Tractor tires went up. Truck tires came down pretty, with the 10 or 20s, which we don't use a whole lot. Radials, 421, they come down a little over $100. Some pumps, and we did accept that. Liquid petroleum, stayed with Heritage Petroleum on that.
It's quite a difference in the bid prices.
And oil and grease, stayed with Heritage Petroleum.
So I'm guessing that's not on the air, on unleaded gas, Series Solution 355? Is there a bid on that? Geez, It's a,
That's what they did,
it's a buck over
yeah,
the line item.
yeah.
Wow, even the death was, it's more than a buck more.
And like I say, the chassis lube, gear oil, motor oil, hydraulic oil. And it was Heritage Petroleum. They were the cheapest.
Okay.
Wash gravel, of course, I accepted all of those bids.
Yeah,
Sometimes they're out, and they have to go
Right.
somewhere else. or-
right.
Sometimes you're closer.
Yeah. Crushed stone, same way as on that.
Yeah.
Culvert and bridge material. I accepted Civilcon, Parke County Aggregates,
Okay.
metal culverts, St. Regis, and E3 Bridge. They were higher, so I didn't accept them. St. Regis also had an escalating clause rolled into theirs, and there's not supposed to be one of those in theirs.
Ah, okay.
They've done that now the last 3 or 4 years. I did accept all the,
Sure.
for pipe arches and steel bridges. 'Cause I always just shop around for those, whoever's,
At the time you need them.
yeah.
I don't know if you knew this or not, that road out of West Union, the kid hit the bridge and broke the bridge and had to be fixed. And we
River
were
Road.
gonna have to order a pipe. They just happened to be making those deep pipes at
Yeah.
that time we called, so I were able to get it and get it in before harvest.
Yeah.
Just pure blind luck that they had some. They were making them then.
And repair parts, BHK, they was the only bid, so.
Okay. All right.
If you guys wanna, like,
They sold out, didn't they?
BHK? I heard they did, yes. I don't know who bought
I
it.
can't remember, he owns 4 others, I think.
Oh, does he? Is he on the one in Clinton? Or
You're
is
talking
it-
about Napa?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, the guy Hugo bought the
yeah.
one down here.
That's it, that's
Yeah.
Dr.
and I heard that the other one, building sold or something, but I
The
think.
building's for sale, they're looking
Yeah,
for a
but
building.
I think it didn't happen, I don't think. I don't
Not that I've
think it
heard,
was sold.
no. But if it does, they'll be hurting because they're looking, they're in this
Yeah.
place. I thought they were going out of business, but they're not, it's just the building leases.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell the building out from under them, yeah. Okay, do we need to take action on this?
Yeah, you need to take
Need a
a motion on them if you would.
Is there a motion to accept?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept all the bid recommendations that Randy has given us.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Now,
Did Jeannie send a list of the new?
yeah,
Okay, I got a call from Blake Dollier, he's with NDOT now, and he's doing a story on community crossings and who's doing what roads, so he just needed to know what roads they were and what the bid one was and stuff.
okay. I didn't make you a copy,
Oh, okay,
but I can make a copy.
that's what I
Well,
need, yep, I need. a
maybe
copy.
somebody can, I don't know if I
I
can.
can't.
I don't know if I can run that.
I can get it.
On the, I got some notes on this too.
Okay, it'll just be for me,
We're gonna do this one,
okay,
we're gonna pay for that in ourselves.
okay. So on Wednesday, we're doing these
Yeah, these two,
stuff too, okay, that'll work.
1 and 3.
And I'll make a copy of it.
Make 2 of them if you would, Jim.
I can.
You wanna start the signing?
I
Or
can
you
start.
wanna
Yep, I'll just
Wait
start.
till the end of the meeting. Is there a question of them?
I'll start. If they wanna wait till the end of the meeting, they can wait.
Jamie called me and he said, make sure you got a good bid, because you're gonna be signing that.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I mean, halfway through and quit on you, Bruce.
Slack it off.
Got one or two and then quit.
I didn't want to get writer's cramp.
The way I sign, I can't get writer's cramp.
I know,
It's
that's
just
not
like
the
a
way
doctor, I just
Not the way of me anymore.
scribble.
Okay, thank you.
So Blake Dollier now is, used to be a reporter for Channel
That's just say, he used to be a
10.
a reporter.
And now he's the communications for
DOT?
NDOT.
Okay.
Yep. And so he's doing a lot of reaching out to communications, and he just wondered what roads, and if I can get some pictures of these, and what the bid was on them, and that kind of thing, and kind of follow along, so we can make a presentation on how the community crossing grant's working. And I got another notification, same notification you got, he sent me about the $1.5 million now for the pilot program instead of one, so we'll see if that, we can get that or not.
Got a lot of sign, listen to signs.
We just started signing. If you wanna go on with something else in the agenda, we can do this after the meeting.
I don't know that we have anything else.
So everybody else can get out of
Now,
here.
everybody else is gone, or is not here. I don't think Chris
Oh.
O'Brien or Jill.
Oh, I know what it is. We do have one more thing we have to do so I can sign. If you remember, Nick was looking at that contract with Ascension for the heart.
Right, for the heart
stuff.
thing, yep.
He was going to get with that fee, that $750 fee, but that's just part of the contract that they have.
Right.
That they established, so he's okay with that, as long as we're okay with that. So we do need a motion to approve that, so I can get that signed and get it back to Nick.
That was through Hendricks Health.
No, that was through Ascension. Yeah.
Ascension.
St. Vincent. Yeah.
St. Vincent.
St. Vincent, yes.
Indiana Heart Institute.
Okay. I couldn't remember who that was through.
Yeah, the Hendricks is our hip, but
Orthopedic stuff. Yeah.
orthopedic stuff, yeah, but Ascension is, St.
Cardiac,
Vincent, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So is there a motion to approve?
So, yeah, I'd make the motion, we approve the, whatever, the special program that, our insurance company recommended that we can go through with Ascension with, anybody who needs some heart,
With the understanding nobody's required to
Right,
participate in that,
yes.
but they can, it's their fault if they want to.
If they want
So
to.
I'd second that motion, all in favor, say aye. Okay. I'm guessing you have a copy of that, Bill, so I need to stop the sign?
I remember talking to him that day, and I don't know why I was thinking.
I have to look at
Okay, if not, he can send you one.
Yeah.
Maybe I can sign mine, scan it back to him, let me see if I can
Randy,
sign
that's
this.
all.
Yeah, I
And
think,
Okay.
send me your sign one
Okay.
too.
All right, anybody got public comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned.